Hey guys, welcome to episode 9. We remembered the count this time.
Swear we weren't just talking out before.
No, that definitely didn't just get cut. But yeah, welcome to episode 9 of Grot and Rat, Squigs, Skaven, and Sigmar. I'm Ryan, and I'm joined by,
Rob,
and yeah, we uh, we have been thinking a little bit. I've been thinking, and I forgot. I'm just dropping this on Rob right now, live. But I've been thinking that we should do a bit more of a structured intro. So that's essentially as far as that conversation goes, because we, I think, I don't know, I think part of the charm of our style of podcasting,
is like throwing it together.
yeah, it's like spaghetti at the wall.
Surprisingly, it's all been sticking.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, anyway, welcome in. Thank you so much for listening to us again. Returning listeners, you are the real MVPs. New listeners, we're welcome. We're so glad to have you in, and welcome in. Yeah, it's been boy, yeah. But I have been building my little face off, my little heart out, to try and reach that goal of having my entire pile of shame built. And I don't remember if primed was part of the deal, but built at least by the end of the year. I am so close. I'm so very close.
How
I
much you got left?
I have the Git Mob army box minus drogs. I have 3 kill team boxes. The Kassakin, the Imperial Agents, the Breaches, the Navy Breaches. I have a unit of Pathfinders, a unit of Vanquishers, Rebute Gilliman, the Mangler Squigs.
I forgot you got the mango squigs.
Mhm.
You got those in Philly, right?
Yeah. Maybe a couple of others, but not very much at all. Oh, in fact, no, I lied. The whole Vermintide box. I forgot about that one.
Oh,
That's like a million billion bottles.
yeah. It's like
They're fast though.
yeah. It's mainly clan rats.
Yeah.
And I think plague monks,
Yeah. I think it's like a million clan rats, a million plague monks,
storm fiends.
3 storm fiends, the bell, and I think that's it.
Yeah, but you're gonna do the furnace this time because you already got a bell.
Correct. So that'll be neat. I haven't got all that stuff built yet, obviously, but that's where I'm at. And I've also been painting quite a bit. So for the audio listeners, I apologize. You're not gonna be able to see it, but I painted up this Dominator engine with maces.
You can't see it too good, but he'll stick it even closer to the camera eventually.
I'll yeah, I'll put some photos up right here.
It's real good.
But yeah, no, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Um, I didn't really decide that I was doing blue fire on it until I did it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The
I
whole
was
army is coming out pretty nice.
I was seeing something about not really kit bashing per se, but it was something about making the arms a little bit more posable.
Hmm.
Um, and I wonder if you get another one, I might have to show you that video so you can see, because apparently you can have the cannons face like a certain direction.
Okay.
But the only thing is that you might have to do something with the change in the back. I think that you would lose those essentially, like right behind the arms.
I'm not married to him, so
Okay, so
yeah,
um,
that's fine. I know that they apparently I didn't magnetize this. I did magnetize my cannon so that it can be the cannon or the rocket battery. I didn't do that to this, which I perhaps should have. But I also just like that it's done.
I mean, either way, they're spicy in combat.
Yeah.
I think Anthony, whom should be coming over today.
Yep, he's here today.
I charged one of his cannons, and I was like, "Oh, it can't be that bad. It's cannons, and it's like D3+1, So
Yeah.
it's still a little spicy."
Yeah. So no, they're a really good unit. And yeah, the whole army's coming on really well. So I'm working on the Infernal Cohort. The Despot is done. I built the razors or razors. I like them as razors, whatever. I have a ton of stuff to prime. So
Mike actually picked up a box of the Hobgrots, and I found out it comes it's a reinforced unit. There's 20 in there in the box actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That feels a little bit better because it's $65.
yes, exactly. But that's why I think they came with 20 models, and I didn't realize it until I was like I saw it for 65, and I was like, who wants to pay 65 for chaff units, And then when Mike picked up the box, he was like, oh, there's 20 in here, and I'm like, well, 65 for a reinforced unit's actually not too bad, you know what I mean?
Right. Because I feel like with the Hobgrots being 70 points for 10. Oh, I closed that down. It's being 70 points for 10. 140 points for 20 brings them basically in line with clan rats.
Yes, and there's a lot. Well, again, it's like what we were talking about earlier with Stormcast had I had this rule, but yours is better. Yeah. So I think what makes the Hobgrot so good is there's a bunch of stuff that apparently can buff them.
Yes, they can pick up buffs in weird ways, and they also have a pre-game move.
Yes,
which is huge if you want to pick up Scouting Force, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Actually, yes, and again, if Clan Rats had something a little bit similar, at least with a scouting move, I think I wouldn't mind paying 150 for 20 of them.
Right.
You know,
the Infernal Cohort are, I forget how many points they are. I could look it up. In fact, let me look it up.
I say they're
100 points. So
100 points for 10?
100 points for 10. So I feel like 30 points for the swords, right? So I feel like I'm sort of into paying 30 more points for a far more survivable unit that is much faster overall. So they don't get the pre-game move, but anytime that the swords run, it's a guaranteed 4 minimum.
Okay. I mean, how much do they move though? They move
4.
4, yeah.
So they're guaranteed to move 8.
And Hobgrots move 5?
5 probably.
Okay.
But you know, it's less reliable movement, I guess. They're on a 3-up save. I think the Hobgods are probably on maybe a 6-up, maybe a 5-up.
Yeah, they're not they're not super survivable, no. But I think the pre-game move and buffing them, like it again for battle tactics, I think that's where your premium is being paid for.
I agree. But that's pretty cool. I think I'll probably gonna end up using just the Hobgods that I have from the Cruel Boys, because I already have like a million billion. I think I actually have like 160 Hobgrots. Yeah, right. It's because I got so many Dominion blocks.
Yeah. I didn't realize the Hobgrots came in the Dominion box.
Yeah, you get either 20 or 40.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. The only difference is that these sculpts have a little bit more armor on them or something like that.
The new sculpts are probably better. But I already have these ones.
Yeah.
So
same with Clan Rats. You know, if you picked up a bunch of old sculpt Clan Rats, not gonna never use them, you know. So,
and I mean a Hobgrot's a Hobgrot, so I'm okay with either. But yeah, that's the hobby and I've gotten done this week. Have you managed to get anything built or?
No. Wait.
Oh.
Wait. No. I've been kind of saving all my collective skills for the Christmas boxes that should be coming in.
Yeah, like a week or two, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
There you go. Nice.
And then, it'll be Soulblight, hopefully.
Yeah. You're getting 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It'll be, I mean, you also got the Skaven to finish, but it'll be exciting for you to get them built and get them painted up and all that kind of stuff.
Maybe something cool going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that zombie dragon can be built into, but I think you said it could be multiple ones.
I think you can do it as the zombie dragon with the guy on top, and somebody else maybe.
So then the only thing I would need to pick up is the character version that can be built into like 3 different ways. Because I think Mike has the Prince Vordry.
I think Prince Vordry is a different sculpt.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. That one specifically can be built into 3 different ones. So
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So and I mean, you know, if you at least here among friends, if you're running him and you're like, oh, I'm going to run this guy as the guy, and you have the knight on top, and you're like, oh, this is just a regular one, nobody here is going to be like, nope, buy a new one.
But thank God, right?
Right?
But Mike, like I said, since he did it recently where he got Prince Vordry, and I'm going to get him to show me how to magnetize him, because the way he did it, he literally was able just to swap out the head and the top and all that too. So, like, even when I do eventually pick him up, like, it'll be a quick little,
That's good.
So, I realize it's going to be a combat patrol and then another box, which would be the character model.
Even so, yeah. In other exciting news, I did the first session of a Soulbound RPG. That's the Age of Sigmar D&D, basically.
Okay.
Which was a lot of fun.
That Dark Water thing that's coming out?
No, different from Darkwater. Darkwater is just like a standalone board game, but Soulbound is literally it's Dungeons and Dragons, but with Warhammer characters.
So I could theoretically jump into it with whatever models I have,
Yep.
and it's just
Yeah. And you don't play as like a you're not playing like I'm playing as a Stormcast, and I'm not playing as a Liberator. I'm playing as a Knight Quester. So you're already a hero. So and it's like it's pretty. You're like high level characters, and like you already have like a ton of skills and abilities and stuff, and you're not like fighting for survival against a single goblin.
Okay.
So
You're already there. You're already the super
yeah,
power.
right. And like you're even more powerful because of the soulbound thing, because it's like the party is like all connected and stuff. It's really cool. The game master, dungeon master, whatever he's called in Soulbound that we have is really cool. Also plays a ton of Warhammer, so like obviously that obviously helps. And the other two players in the campaign, they're both pretty new to the setting. Um,
That's
what
pretty interesting, like way to get into
it
the whole
is
setting
right.
itself, you know.
I don't think there are many people. So yeah, it's a dungeon master's wife and one of the dungeon master's other friends that are playing, and the friend has like never done any Warhammer whatsoever.
Ooh,
So like this could be like the gateway drug,
okay.
which is cool. And but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It all works off of D6s. It's very fast and streamlined, and absolutely loved. For those of you that are like into Dungeons and Dragons as well, that like building characters, it is a lot of fun building characters in Soulbound because they have tables that let you roll for everything. So you can roll for your appearance, you can roll for your backstory, you can roll for what your hair looks like, you can roll for the random connections between you and the other party members. It's really cool. So the character creation was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Does it come in like a book per
Yeah,
se?
it's done by Cubicle 7. I'm pretty sure it's Cubicle 7. And they do like the Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Warhammer Fantasy, 40K, Inquisitor. They do all of the RPG elements for Warhammer. So,
Okay.
and doing this makes me want to do some more of them. I know that the Warhammer Fantasy, like the old world stuff, that's much more similar to a hardcore D&D campaign where like you start as a soldier. You are maybe a warrior priest that knows how to say pray. You're like an archer from the Elven Kingdoms. You're not like a hero. You're not even a unit captain. You are just like a guy.
Huh.
Which this is not. And then there's the I don't even know the name of the 40K ones, but there's 40K ones which are like, you can be like an inquisitorial band going to a hive city to try and root stuff out. Different from Necromunda, where you're a gang. This one you are an individual person. I think it might have been Matt Colville, or maybe somebody that like does D&D or TTRPG content. They did the thing where it's like, if you're doing a TTRPG, the character sheet is like you're zoomed in on that one guy, and then Warcry, Mordheim, stuff like that, you zoom out, so that, like the detail becomes less, but you have more in shot, which is like the rest of the warband, whatever. And then you zoom out even further to like a skirmish game like AOS, to some extent like 40K. And then the detail on every character sheet gets smaller, but you have more of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you can't be hyper focused on each
right.
individual one.
You don't know everybody's name in your army, but you probably know everybody's name in your warband, and you definitely know everybody's name when you're 3 people.
Oh, okay.
So it's really neat. It's interesting. I'm really excited for it. And yeah, no, it's super cool.
To be honest with you, that might be a fun way to get into the 40K setting.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see that being played a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that it's interesting because, especially for the 40K stuff, because there's so much more established lore, and nothing that you say is wrong. You go to a hive world, there are millions. So if this hive world's main output is desktop fans, that's fine. That's what
It's literally what it is. Yeah.
So no, I'm super excited for that, and but yeah, I'm playing a Knight Quester, which it's very interesting seeing the different character classes that you can play for the different races. Because I think for Stormcast it's like a Knight Azorius, a Knight Incantor, the Quester, and somebody else. I forget who it is. Maybe a Relictor. I don't know. Whatever. And you know, it's just interesting that you are already that hero. It's a cool game. Check them out, Cubicle 7. They are pretty cool, and the rule set's written pretty well. So
awesome. So you're not no confusion, so to speak, or no like very
So
well thought out.
To give you an idea, let's say that me and you are fighting a bunch of Skaven, right? And there's 3 Skaven attacking me and 1 Skaven attacking you. The Skaven have a rule where there's more of them together, so they get tougher. So it's harder for me to kill the 3. But if I want to kill or attack the Skaven, I roll however many dice. It's going to be like 5 or 6 d6. And then it's, I need to get over a 3 or a 4 or whatever it is on 5 dice. And if I do that, I do a bunch of damage, and then, it's super cool. So, if you like tabletop RPGs, check out Soulbound. It's my hot pick for this week. And it's a nice palate cleanser from D&D, I think. So, yeah.
So, change of pace for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. It would be interesting to check out the 40k ones next, and just see what they're like. I don't know what the races and classes are and stuff like that. I think that it's going to be mostly human and Imperium centric.
I don't know. I can see Tau being able to drop in really.
You could definitely do a Tau campaign, I think, but you would have to be doing a Tau campaign because it's going to be really hard to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm an Inquisitor from the Order Xenos, and this is my buddy, Shaz Ola Frey from the Space Communists. Yeah. We just hang out. We're buddies.
We just picked them up on the side of the road. Yeah,
right. And then and also this is my buddy Merktooth Dakatusk, the Orc boy. Yeah.
He also just found him on the side of the road too as well.
Right. And then that's Dave.
Yeah.
Dave the Imperial Guardsman.
He hitchhiked.
Yeah. But yeah, so Soulbound, very cool. The other thing that I think that I have coming up is I've spoken about it on my live streams, is a bet with Raul, who I think everybody's seen on the channel. There's a poll up on the channel right now. This episode will come out right after, well, right in the middle of December, I think. And I think he's cooked. I don't think he's finishing. The bet is Raul has to finish all of his models, every single thing that he has. And he just picked up a Crux Terminatus box. He has not painted any of his Chaos Dwarves. He's doing everything in NMM because he's an absolute savage. And I think he's cooked.
I feel like we should be best buddies in the world and buy him a few more boxes of stuff.
I said to him, like, I'm gonna turn up at his house on Christmas Eve and give him a box of Dark Oath because he hates the Dark Oath. I'd be like, hey bud, here's a free box of minis.
Merry Christmas.
But no, the bet is that if he manages to finish his entire backlog, all of his pile of shame, I will buy him when it drops the 5th edition starter box for Age of Sigmar. And if he doesn't, he buys me the 5th edition starter box for Age of Sigmar. So I've got a pretty good feeling about getting a free 5th edition starter set when it comes out. So hopefully it's an army that I don't collect opposite who it's probably going to be Stormcast. So,
and hopefully they don't delete your other half of the Stormcast.
That's probably what's coming. But yeah, at least a free box will soften the blow.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, if you guys, I'll probably post an update post when this video goes live. I'll check in with Raul as to what he's got left, so that we can, everybody can decide if Raul is cooked or not. I personally have a very strong sense that he is cooked. So,
yeah, he just can't stop himself from getting all the new cool stuff.
I get it. The new stuff is cool and new, so it's tough, but yeah, I think that. I think
his painting skills, his painting eyes were a little bit bigger than his.
I think he just didn't have enough time. I think that's what it was. I'm like, he's done a lot too. Like, I'm rooting for him. I don't want it to sound like I'm like, rubbing my hands together, excited for him. If he does it, it's going to be the best $200 and whatever that I've ever spent, because he will go into the new year with a 0 pile of shame, no hobby debt, happy as a clam. Which is like, I can't imagine that. I've never had that feeling.
I don't think that feeling will last for him very long, to be honest with you.
Probably not, because I'm pretty sure that on the 1st of January he will be buying up a ton. If he's finished or not,
yeah,
I think he's going to buy a ton of stuff because he's like in the clear.
Justifiable. Like, oh, I don't have any more. I'm not gonna feel as bad for buying 6 new boxes or whatever.
He's talking about picking up the Seraphon, and he's talking about picking up more Sylvaneth, and he's talking about picking up this, that, and the next thing. So I'm like, all right, man. Well, I mean, hey, maybe wait till the 1st of January. So, okay. So, I think we were talking before the episode, and we have a few topics that are, I guess, locked and loaded. But the sooner we talk about this one, the longer it's going to stay relevant. But I think it'll have some relevancy even in the future. And we wanted to talk about battle tactics.
Yes.
Which ones we think are good. What we think is coming in the next General's Handbook. And how we think they're going to change. Now, I know that there is division in the community at large over the new battle tactics. So let's, broad strokes, how do you like picking 2 battle tactics to try and do with your army before you've ever even seen your opponent's army?
It is a mixed bag for me, to be honest with you. Because for being able to choose 2 before you see your opponent's army, you can build your list around it.
Yep.
I feel like that's the mixed blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, if we use like Scouting Force and whatever, you know what I mean? If I go with Scouting Force
and you take nothing but War Machines, you're like, wait a minute.
yeah, exactly. So it can kind of pigeonhole you to a degree, but at the same time, if you're planning around it, you know what I mean, and you're taking nothing but infantry and cav, like it does to a degree curb a lot of the just taking the most powerful unit spam.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're building your list around your battle tactics, you know what I mean? And it looks like the way they design them is to encourage a broad, diverse list of units.
Yeah.
So you're not just taking 6 monsters. I mean, some people are, but you know what I mean?
Right. Because it's funny. I think that there have always been battle tactics which are just out of reach for some armies.
Yep.
Even back in 3rd edition, and probably before, but certainly in 3rd edition, I think that there were battle tactics that I was never going to be able to do with certain armies, unless I built like a really, really specific list for it. And I think that that's the same now. So, as an example, if you take even a Gargant list, right? Gargants are cooked for Scouting Force right out of the gate.
Yeah.
They're not going to get it because unless they... So, yeah. Sons of Behemoth literally cannot get Scouting Force. So they've lost access to that battle tactic right out of the gates. So they're down to 5 out of 6 that they have left. And then, I think most of their guys are heroes, so it makes fighting into them a lot easier. Anyway, like I say, I think that there are a lot of armies who just don't line up with the battle tactics. Talking about War Machines, if you are Skaven and you're running a lot of War Machines, it's hard to get Scouting Force. If you're playing a Warp Cog list, which is long range shooting, it's very hard to be like, all right, well, I'm going to do Warp Cog, but I'm also going to have a couple of units that I'm going to just put on the table just to try and score Scouting Force. Well, that's fine, but that eats into your stuff a lot.
You kneecap yourself, essentially.
Right.
Yep.
And then, armies that are objective play-based, like, I think Nighthaunt, the new Nighthaunt, are now much more objective-based and far less killy. It's going to be hard for them to do things like, not so much Master of the Paths, but things like Intercept and Recover. It's going to be fairly easy to try and keep that away.
Yeah.
And if you do an Intercept and Recover on an army with low mobility, thinking Fire Slayers, although they might have some tricks, but, like, it's a lot easier if you have teleporting units to just keep them away from from those guys. So that's a difficult one for low mobility armies to try and do. And I think that if it fits your playstyle, or if it fits the army playstyle that you want, it's great to build that in. But if your army just doesn't have the ability to push into that battle tactic, it makes it really, really hard.
I think that's the other problem with the battle tactics too, is sometimes it is the win harder, you know what I mean?
Yes.
or let's say you can very easy like the a two-tech I ran where the starts off with just control the center board,
Right.
and then it gets fairly complicated with the retreat too, and then have two units that attack. You know what I mean? Like,
and for an army like Skaven, maybe that's a great one because you don't take any. There's no penalty to retreat if you're doing it with infantry anyway.
Yep.
If you have it paid with scouting force, then you push out of your territory, you get into the middle, then you retreat, and you're building into doing the battle tactics. But you're not a very killy army at that because you're like, right, I need to get in, get out, get back in, and do all that kind of stuff.
And it can become a problem where, let's say, again, if you're not super good at your movement too, trying to line up two armies to be run into and then retreated and then have you charge the next turn, you know what I mean? It could be very overwhelming or very hard setup to actually do the actual battle tactic. The problem with that. And
another thing too is that, especially with scouting force, everything has to be on the table. Because, you can't have your storm vermin, storm fiends
under the ground. Yep.
I can't have the stormcast up in the sky, whatever. On things like Cruel Boys, if you have a lot of non-reinforced units and you're running a lot of infantry, it's very easy to get that. I say very easy. It's easier to get that because everything starts at the table anyway.
Yep.
And then you just have 5 chances of sneak in to try and move around to try and get those tactics.
Well, especially how you play now with the run and charge and stuff like that too. Right. So if you're trying to just be in the enemy's face anyway, you go scouting force and intercept and recover, and it's like, well, I want to fight you and I want to be out of my territory either way, so it can line up almost damn near perfect.
Exactly. Know? So for me personally, I like it. I like that I am picking 2 battle tactics. And if I'm at a tournament or if I'm playing at home, I typically don't change them for my current armies. It's just that's how I've built the army to play, and I'm gonna just play it that way, right? Because I feel like, especially in 3rd and a little bit at the start of 4th with the other battle tactics, there seemed to me like out of the list of 10, 15, 12, whatever it was in 3rd, or previous where it's just you have a list of X battle tactics and you get to pick one every turn, there would be 3, 4, or 5 that I would be like, all right, yeah, I can do those, and then I just have to try and do those. And that's it. Like, I'm only going to pick the same ones. So I have the same problems with, there's only a set amount that I can even attempt to do on this, with this list, versus I'm just going to pick these ones and then I've got to...
Yeah, I feel like it definitely, the way it's set up now, it's more planning ahead. I feel like the other one, that's the mixed bag, because what I did like about the 3rd edition, for example, was if my dice rolls weren't going well, you know what I mean? And it did allow me to think on the fly of like, okay, originally I'm not going to get into table corners anymore. Something died, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so now I'm going to pivot and do this.
So I feel like that is the one that's the one thing I kind of don't like about it is it doesn't allow me to pivot into something, you know what I mean? If some things get shut down, I can just flat out be out of scoring.
Because I think it was actually last weekend when Griff was here. I think that he'd misunderstood scouting force, and he thought that his heroes counted for it. And I'm like, no, it's non-infantry.
Yep.
Non-hero infantry or cavalry.
Yep.
Right?
I made the same mistake with my Doom players because I didn't realize they were War Machine coded. You know.
So with that, if you only have 2 scout keyworded units at the start of the match, and one of them dies, gets tied up in combat, or just can't make it out, you've lost. You've lost the ability. You haven't necessarily lost 15 points, but you've fully lost the ability to score 15 points, which is huge.
Yep.
And let's say that you have that, and then you took intercept and recover, and you double turn somebody. Well, now you're down 20 points because they've taken a treasure.
It can put you in a position to lose harder. You know.
And I think that's one of those things with this. This General's Handbook this season that I think I like, weirdly, right? Because I feel like you have to pick your army for the playstyle, and if you pick badly, it sucks, but it's on you.
Yeah.
Nobody made you pick that list. Nobody made you pick that battle tactic.
Yeah.
It does. The counterpoint is the point that you just made of, well, before I used to be able to just have a list of things I could do, and if one of them didn't work, well, fine, I'll just do the other ones.
Yep. It can go both. I think to be honest with you, I think with the armies you're playing, it is a lot more fun compared to mine, where it does kind of pigeonhole me into a very particular play hole because some of my model, like again, some armies just can't do certain ones.
Yeah, 100%.
So I can both sides of the coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you are playing an army that does very well into these battle tactics, it's not that big of a deal, or you're like, don't worry, I'm not too worried about it. You know what I mean? But
and what's funny is when we played last weekend, when I played against Griff, I didn't score any of my intercept recover just because he had so much more mobility than I did.
Yep.
And I think I scored one at the very end.
You did score at the very, very end.
But even so, it's like I had such a hard time trying to score those battle tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that I think is good about these ones is you know what your opponent is trying to do from the get-go, which is a little bit weird from like my immersion point of view. But it also means that you can play in a way that's like, right, okay, so he is playing a high mobility, high damage, low tank, all spank army. So I'm going to put it on my hero that can teleport once per turn, every turn, in combat or not. He can retreat from combat, thinking about the soggy Gnash Tooth.
Yep.
You know, if I put a treasure on the soggy Gnash Tooth, and I'm like, right, I'm just going to try and score with this guy. I'm not going to try and fight. I'm not going to try and pull a guy out of combat, whatever. I'm just going to run this guy around the board, pick up some objectives here and there, and have a treasure on him. Then my opponent's never going to score.
Yeah.
Unless he has like a lot of shooting, so like if I'm going into KO or whatever, and then that forces me to play him slightly different or whatever. So I guess in that instance, it's it is less interactive on that model.
Yeah.
But it also allows me to play in a way that's going to counter my opponent's stuff right out of the gate. If he only has 3 infantry units right out of the bat, and he has scouting force and intercept and recover, if I put my 3 treasures on 3 units that are almost impossible to kill, and I kill 1 or 2 of those infantry units, if I alpha pin them or I do whatever, I'm not ahead the points, but I'm certainly not going to struggle to stay ahead because of the battle tactics.
Yep, like I said, I think it goes both ways. You know what I mean? I think it's very army dependent.
Yes.
And that could be, if it didn't cost so much money, I think I would like it a little bit better. Yeah. I think that's my whole issue with it is just it can be a very expensive like way to fix your, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
right.
I think that's what it would be good for, like a computer game or TTS, you know what I mean, where you have access to all the models, and then I can very easily swap my list and stuff like this. But
and then be like, oh, actually, I love the way this plays. Let me go pick up a second Vermin Lord.
Yep, exactly.
Or whatever.
Compared to like now, it's like, well, geez, I don't know if I have $150 to spend to then adjust my list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe they find a happy medium between the two is what I would hope they would do. You know?
Yeah, I think that there is scope for both. I like both. I prefer this season, 2025-26 season, and it's
the other thing we didn't talk about, to be honest with you. It also the battle plans, the way the maps are set up too,
yes,
can also greatly affect
hugely
what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it too as well. You know,
because I forget the name of the one that gives you extra ward saves on an objective if you're underdog, which is a lot of hoops, but still, if you have a 5-up or 4-up ward unit stood on an objective that has a high save that is reinforced, thinking about reclusions or whatever, right? If you have a unit of 6 reclusions or quest a soulsworn stood on an objective with a 3-up save, finest hour gives them +1 to save, right? Yep. They can all out defense for an extra one. Then you have the 4-up ward or even just a 5-up ward, whatever. They're hard to shift, and if they have a treasure on them, and you're like, man, I'm getting down low, I only have two guys left, and one of them's wounded. Well, okay, I'm just going to teleport them out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like they've stood there and they've done the thing that they needed to do, and they've held that objective for however many turns they've been able to hold it for. Now it's time for me to deny my opponent those 5 points and pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
So. And that's on one battle plan. Now, obviously, there's other ones where it's like the Grasp of Thorns, what we did with Griff, which, he was able to pin Kragnos, and if Kragnos had had a treasure and he'd come in, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely army dependent. My favorite ones throughout the whole season so far have been Master of the Paths, Restless Energy, and Intercept and Recover. I don't think I've run 4, 5, and 6, which is Wrathful Cycle, Scouting Force, and Attuned. I have 100% never run Attuned. I might have run Wrathful Cycles a time or two.
I don't think I've done Attuned, to be honest with you. That was someone I was interested in. The problem with that one in Skaven is they just all die before they can retreat sometimes.
Yep.
Or I don't want them to retreat because they have to stand there to eat the delay you from running into me.
Right.
You know.
So talking about them individually, Master of the Paths, I think, is one of the, I wouldn't say easier ones, but it's one of the more straightforward ones, right? It's kill an enemy, keep them out of your territory, and then stand in the corners. If you score the third part of Master of the Paths, you've basically won the game anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So, you don't need to score that last one, but if you can score it, you're probably doing really well. Restless Energy pairs really well with the with Master of the Paths because you want to keep them out of your territory. That means be in their territory, and it means that you're going to go stand on their circles. You're going to take it from them. You're going to score that one, and then you go control all the objectives in their territory, that's what you want to be doing anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you hold all of the objectives, which again, if you take both of those and you score step 3, the domination of both of those objectives, you've won by a lot. You've probably turn 3 cleared the board.
Yeah.
Right? Intercept and Recover, I think, pairs equally well with either one of those because they're probably going to pick 3 units that are going to be spending some time in their territory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where it falls down for me with Wrathful Cycles is, hold more than your opponent is great. There is the nice underdog mechanic there in the strike for the second part, where it's like if half my army fights and I'm underdog, then I score it. If you're already losing, that's a nice one.
Yep.
Because you're losing, so you're underdog. Everybody's probably in combat, or you're going to try and get everybody in combat to try and turn the tide. And if half of your army fights or more, then you score that one, and that's great. The domination, though, is each large quarter. That's pretty easy, right? So I feel like that one has a really good comeback mechanic, because you just have to stand in a corner.
Yep.
Which is honestly pretty easy.
Yep. Table quarters are a lot bigger than people realize.
Right. It's the whole quarter. So you're pretty much guaranteed to be in at least 1 or 2 of them, and you only need to be stood in 3 of them. No, each. So it's all 4. But even so, it's not that hard, and you've got to control more objectives. But again, that one is the comeback is on, and you've done a bunch of stuff on that one.
I think some of them pair really good together.
Yeah.
I think what's the one that you usually do? You usually do
Master of the Paths and Restless Energy.
Well, there's another one where it's Intercept and Recover and Master of the Paths, because usually you're gonna put a token. Most people are gonna put the token on their heroes anyway because they're the most survivable.
Yep.
So if you manage to kill a hero,
you score 10 points.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I think Battle Tactics 1, 2, and 3 go incredibly well together in any combination. I think you can pick 1 and 2 and 1 or 2 and 3 or 2 and 3 or 3 and 1 or whatever.
See, I guess that's what I hope they do. I hope they, with the next set of cycles they do, is they make at least like 1 to 2 pair well. You know what I mean? Or 3 to 4 pair well with each other. That way you're trying to do it anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think that the problem with especially Scouting Force, because Scouting Force does pair well with a bunch of stuff, right? You have to get 3 guys out of your territory, then you have to go stand on faction terrains or objectives. And again, if you're doing Wrathful Cycles, that's a pretty good one. And then the problem with Courageous Adventurers, the domination one, very often on some battle maps there is only 1 terrain feature that you can go and take.
Yep. See, I think that's the problem with them is their. I don't know if they made them both at the same time, you know what I mean?
Right,
so if they made the battle plans to fully go with all these other with the battle tactics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll when next year they'll coordinate them a little bit better, or at least you know what I mean. Like I don't know if that's possible to do, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. It would be nice, nice if they play test the game.
yeah,
Uh,
essentially, you know what I mean. Is
uh,
this achievable when we make these fancy rules? You
right.
know what I mean?
And
Like,
is it achievable with one army, with 5 armies, with all of the armies?
yep,
Is there one army that could just never get this, like Scouting Force with Gargants?
yep.
Um, is there a way that this could be done?
See, I guess the ones that pair nicely would be scouting force and the tune.
Yes.
Because again, you're gonna move up. All half the units want to move up to the center anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Odds are you're gonna try to set up 2 units that your scouting force to be the bait unit, so to speak. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I guess I can see where they were going with that. Where
Yeah.
they did in a way pair 1 to 2, 1 to 2. You know?
I think that there are a lot of good pairings in there. I just the last one that we didn't talk about is Attuned to Gairan.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's worded so weird.
Right, it's
you
like,
know what I mean? It's almost like
have two stood in the center is such it's classic Sigmar, right?
Yeah.
We've had Seize the Center all the way through 3rd edition, and at the start of 4th edition,
Mm-hmm.
and we still have it now. It's just after that it gets so weird, right? Where it's like, all right, have 2 guys retreat and have 2 other guys charge, but one of those has to charge one of the ones you retreated from.
Yes, exactly. And it's even trying to. Now, it doesn't say kill, right? No, you don't have to kill.
And you just have to charge him. It's doable. It's just really weird. Because
You have to charge specifically the ones you retreated from.
one of them.
One of them.
So you have to retreat with 2 units, and then 2 other units have to charge at least one of those other ones.
Well, that one can become a problem because again, if depending on where terrain is and the angles are and this and that, like
you can be denied that battle tactic by 1 redeploy. 1 bad roll stops you from getting that battle tactic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that's true of all of them, but it just feels like that one. It's like especially on a knife edge.
Yeah.
You know. And then the third step is no enemy units within enemy friendly or neutral territory. Right.
Oh Jesus!
Exactly.
What
Right.
it is?
Yeah. Now on certain battle maps, that's going to be frankly impossible. Right.
Yeah, because
that's so easy to deny. Right? Oh, I'm going to just have this one guy redeploy into neutral territory. Done. Okay. Well, I denied you 5 points.
you see, I think that's the one. That's something they got to work on when it comes to that. Is it how easy is it to deny these things too? On top of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that it like without it becoming overly wordy, which is something that they do try and steer away from, it's things like, okay, so nobody in friendly or neutral territory that didn't start the turn there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if they didn't start that turn in neutral territory, they can't redeploy into it. But again, that also takes away the interaction between, okay, well, I have to plan this ahead, and in turn 4, if you're talking about turn 4 and 5, in turn 4 I have to have somebody stood over there, and they just have to stand there for no good reason other than it's going to deny a tactic rather than something else.
Yeah.
So
the other thing that, to be honest with you, I think that I've noticed, and maybe it's because in my last 2 tournaments where I would play a little bit less experienced players, is all the extra rules that are on the battle plans too.
Yeah.
I don't know how often I've actually used the bonus things for that.
We talked about this on the podcast. I definitely talked about it on my painting streams and stuff like that. And I think we talked about it in one of the episodes of the podcast too. I forget about the underdog mechanics when I'm underdog too, right? Like I just don't care.
Yeah. Sometimes they're just not impactful at all.
So,
I mean, the one with Kragnos was pretty cool, but to be honest with you, like it can. That was just that one particular map. The weird one where I think it's Entangled Roots, where if you're on a specific one on odd on like I think it's the ward save. You know, on the even rolls you get a +1 to the ward save,
and then everybody is strike last on the other one. It's like, man, okay, what? So yeah, there are some which are like, oh, I'm just gonna do a laser beam between 2 objectives, and that's gonna just do some mortals. Fine, whatever. Boom. Okay, there you go.
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. You might have to. So I got a quick text for work.
Yep. So yeah, there's some way you're gonna like laser beam between two objectives, and you're gonna damage everybody in that line. Sure, whatever, that's fine. Is that enough to turn the battle? Probably not. Is that a good underdog mechanic? Almost certainly not.
Yeah, because then you hurt yourself too to a
You
degree
can
too.
for sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it can even be a detriment to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes some of these roles they're not good enough to be an underdog mechanic.
Right.
Like
it doesn't rubber band like a blue shell in Mario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're in second with a blue shell,
and to a degree, I don't think you want it to be that strong either, though.
No, I'm just using it as the example,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you want. I mean, having said that, there is I don't know what it's called, but the red box that you get in Mario Kart, which stops the blue shell, there is that too. So like,
I've never seen that before.
oh really? It's like a red box, with like a yellow horn thing, and like you can press it, and then any items that come near you don't hit you.
I've never got that on the random loophole.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, I learned something new today.
Yeah, that's the only. I mean, there's other things too, like glitches and whatever, but I think you can just fully avoid blue shells with that.
Huh.
Yeah. But sorry, a little bit of Mario Kart lore for you. Yeah, it's one of those things where I want so badly for the underdog mechanics to matter, but at the same time, and I haven't really followed it very much. I think in 40K with the challenger cards things that they just did recently in the last like chapter approved, codex approved, whatever it is, the mission pack that they just dropped. I think there are like certain cards you draw when you're the underdog or the equivalent or whatever. Again, I haven't really played much 40K lately, so I'm very out of the loop. This is just like stuff I sort of picked up. But if there are certain cards that if you pick up, it's like, oh, cool. Well, I'm gonna just score 100 million points this turn. I'm like, there ain't anything you can do about it. It's just because I'm underdog. I'm gonna be winning next turn.
I think on the note there was something where they had if I don't know if it's just underdog, but you get a card and you either got to do this cool thing to help you score, or you get a special command that you could do for a special command point. It was either or.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just use the example again. I haven't played in a while, but that it was like you could either give this one unit a +1 to hit and wounds,
Oh, okay.
or you score the special points. You don't give both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is one of the things that I think, and we haven't, I haven't played very much Spearhead, but it's one of the things that I really like at Spearhead.
Yes.
Where, you have your hand of cards, and, you can be like, all right, cool, well, I'm going to score this card because I don't need an extra +1 to my save because I'm Nighthawk, whatever. And I think that there is definitely one of those, using my crystal ball here, I think that is what we're going to see in 5. I think that we're going to see the Spearhead card system, because they're doing it in 40K already anyway.
Yep.
But I think we're going to see that Spearhead card system be the battle tactic system for 5.
I do kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
I like it too, and I think that if it's done well, it'll be great.
Yeah.
My worry is, and I saw it happen when when Charles and another guy played their very first games of Spearhead, going into the bottom of turn 4. Let's say it was 10 points apiece, and then the active player scored like, however many points. Let's say they scored 5 points, and then they're like, all right, cool, I guess that means I win. And then the other guy, Charles, was like, oh no, here's 1, 2, 3, whatever battle tactic cards, which is going to score me 6 points. I'm going to win. And it's like, okay, well, I mean,
I guess they can limit that very easy. You know what I mean? What they could do is you can't deploy them all at once.
You can score 1 or 2 battle tactics a turn, like you can now.
Yep, exactly.
And I think that'd be fine. I think that they got to do something like that, to where it's like you have a deck of cards, right, that you've drawn. Let's say that there's 20 battle tactics each, right? So there's a 40 card deck, duplicated, so 20 cards in each. Every turn you get to draw 1, and you can complete 2 a turn. You can only ever hold to whatever, I don't know, like basically like thinking like 40K, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Without making it the same as 40K, I think that there's something interesting they could do there, but I could definitely see them doing a card system, because it's already in Spearhead, and because Spearhead's been wildly successful this edition, like wildly successful for bringing new people in and for doing all that kind of stuff. Because I think on Reddit, the Spearhead subreddit is bigger than the Age of Sigmar one, I think. Let me double check that. I don't want to put misinformation out there. Um, but because there are, for every Age of Sigmar player, there's a Spearhead player. Um, Spearhead, and every AOS Spearhead, is this it? I don't know. So the Age of Sigmar subreddit has 250. Oh no, I think I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm putting out misinformation. So I think that the Age of Sigmar subreddit has 245,000 people. The AOS Spearhead, which I think is the official one, is only 7,000. So I was massively, massively wrong.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I do see your point though, because at least in the Mystic Joint local gaming community, or from what Mike says, there is a lot of interest into the Spearhead,
Yeah.
because the system it's like a better version of Combat Patrol.
It's streamlined. It's one box. You're done.
Yep.
And I think that's why it's been so successful too. By the way, is because people want to be able to pick up a box, put it on the table, and play a whole game. And we haven't had that in any capacity really this whole time.
No.
So if you would play it, so let's even if we go back to the third edition Dominion box, right? If you go back to the Dominion box, there were a few battle plans in the book that came with Dominion that you could play with the two armies that were there, but the two armies that were in there were so wildly unbalanced. I mean, Mossdog was talking about it on podcast 7 or 8, where his wife absolutely spanked him with the Stormcast every single time they played. I could fully believe that because they were just that much better.
Yep.
And then he got a Breaker boss and was still getting spanked. Fast forward to 4th edition, where you have spearheads in the box and you have all the different spearheads that there are now. And I think that there is a lot more internal game balance between the two.
Yep.
And I think that that's huge because experienced players can and do lose to first-time players in Spearhead through a mixture of things, right? There's not and this isn't a slight on anybody that wins playing Spearhead, and it isn't a slight on the game system. I think that that's just how it's been designed. There isn't the broad tactical depth, and I mean, I'm not saying that it's the same as 40k, but there's not the broad tactical depth in Spearhead that there is in Sigmar.
Yeah. No.
In Bigmar, sorry.
Yeah.
By design, and because of that, the tricks that you can pull are a lot less.
Yeah.
And things like you can bring a unit back, super, that's great. You can move an extra unit 5 inches or whatever it is. That's also really cool. But there's not like, okay, well, I'm going to teleport this unit over here, and then I'm going to have them have +1 to hit off of this guy, and then because I have this guy in the army, they have +1 attacks, and then this spell gives them strikes first, and then this guy's going to give you -1 to save.
Yeah, because they limit your magic too and what you can do and stuff like that.
So all of that stuff in Bigmar means that, right, this unit that is like amped up, ready to rock, and your unit is like, enfeebled. You don't really have that in Sigmar. Sorry, in Spearhead, right? Yeah. Because I played the one game that I played with my wife, she won. And I was playing the Nighthaunt, I want to say. And I think she was playing the Seraphon. The old Seraphon one too, not even like the Sunbelt Prowlers one. And, she beat me because I wanted her to learn the game, so obviously, we played pretty basic. We just did the normal stuff. But yeah, she won just on points. And then I played a game with somebody at work, and they won. Same deal. They were running Seraphon, and I was running Nighthaunt again, I think, actually. Maybe the Nighthaunt Spearhead is just trash. Maybe I'm trash. But
no, it could be. I mean, that was my complaint with the Skaven one.
Yeah,
right.
I
mean, like there's some Spearhead armies where it does play a little bit different compared to Bigmar.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. From the point of view of battle tactics in 5th, I think that they could go that way. I think that if they do it where it's just a carbon copy or a poor copy of 40k, I worry that people will complain because it's, we haven't had this yet, we're not used to this, whatever. But I think that if they do it like they've done it in Spearhead, it could be really good.
I do think I would be interested to see how they do it. to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like I said, I would like it changed a little bit. Just because again, it's just the amount of money it would cost sometimes to get people to match your battle tactics. Just it can be a whole lot. So I think that is one of the strong suits of 40K with their card system, where they have the primary scoring and then the secondary can be randomized. You know what I mean? Where you kind of play on the fly and stuff like that. So you still would make a list to play around your random secondary objectives. It just
some of them you're going to draw and be like, well, I can't do that.
Yep. Right. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think you can go both ways.
One of the things I liked in 3rd edition was that there were army-specific battle tactics.
That one I did like too.
So maybe, and I'm going to go against Mosdog's advice of don't name the cool stuff, but maybe the cool thing they need to do is they need to have army-specific battle tactic cards, where you have a deck of X amount of cards that you draw up like in Spearhead. You have them, and you can discard them for an advantage, or you can score them.
Yep. That way, no matter what army you have, you will always have at least some way to score.
And if the battle tactics are written with the army in mind,
it'd be much better. So it doesn't matter if I have, like, let's say it gives me something like a scouting force, but with war machines.
Right.
So my Doom players can actually do the scouting force thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Or if you're a Gargan player, you don't have scouting force in your deck. Yeah. So
like you get a special one for like eating a unit or putting them in the bag. You know what I mean? Like you put a certain number of units in your bag or something like that. Right. You know.
And I think one of the other things that I think would be neat is battle tactics that cumulatively score. So, like the per mini bag, right? Like you score 1 extra victory point up to a maximum of X for every unit you stuff into a bag on any Gargan.
I can see that. You know what I mean? Or
because that's flavorful.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want, to be honest with you. I like the flavorful stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not always going to be the most balanced, but I like having flavor, randomness, and
yeah, and I think they can balance it and still have it taste good.
Yes. I think that's always been Games Workshop's kind of problem, is that they haven't found that sweet spot to be flavorful and still, maybe I'm just one of those people where I say you shouldn't focus too much on competitiveness, No,
I agree with you. I do like the competitive side, but I feel like there are a lot of other people out there that don't play competitively.
I've always been a flavor rules kind of guy. Like, just always, you know what I mean?
Here's the real hope. The hope is that whoever it is that wrote the Nighthaunt battle tome is not writing the battle tactics for this next.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that at all.
Unless you have played a lot in the time before after you wrote that.
Unless they went back to school.
Yeah. Or at least played the game, like 5, 10, 15 times, you know what I mean?
Maybe even more, but yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were doing. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about you. No shade.
I'm gonna talk very briefly about the night. My biggest problem with the Nighthaunt is the recursion, right? And I'm probably misquoting, but essentially, the recursion is return D3 wounds worth of models to the unit, right? Which is only ever gonna be one, right? Because sure, you might roll a 3 on the D3, and then you put the wound away, and then you bring back a model. But that's it. Like if you roll, it's basically on a 5 or a 6, you get to bring a model back, which is just a worse rally.
Yeah,
it's like a way worse rally too. Yeah. It's like a way worse rally.
Yeah, you get penalized. You know what I mean? And it's like,
and they're ghosts. They should be coming back heaps. They should not be coming back less than clan rats.
Yeah.
They should not be coming back less than Hellsmiths for sure. Because, like, if you take that, whatever the detachment is called for the Hellsmiths, where it's like, for every, you get to roll 3 extra dice for every demonic power point
you have, yeah.
Maybe it's every dice is 3, up to a max of 3, whatever it is. But, like, with the gong carriers as well, if you've got a reinforced unit of Hellsmiths making a rally check, you're rolling 10 dice. So, on averages, you bring in 5 back. Why are dwarves bringing back more guys than the ghosts?
It was because they gave a buff to their health, right? They give them like an extra pip of
yeah. So like a lot of the ghosts went from 1 wound to 2 wounds, but it's like they did that, but then they'd written the rule for D3, and then we're like, oh, we should just make them all two wounds though.
Not realizing it was gonna heavily nerf their own rally mechanic.
Right. It's weird, right? I really like how Nighthorn look. I think the army is great. The units that went away probably deserve to go away because the Grimghast Reapers, terrible, always been terrible. What's funny is the moment that they were accidentally good, they just immediately FAQ nerfed them again, and I was like, oh, there they go. The Tomb Banshee is like really old. It's a good model, but it's really old. And then the Cairn Wraith just looks like a worse sculpt of the Grimghast Reapers. He was really good in third, though. Man, he was really good in third. But yeah, the rally mechanic on Nighthorn, plus a bunch of other stuff too, it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
At all.
I don't. You see, that's the problem with them ignoring Rend is that they don't. They're saving on a 5 anyway, 5/6 anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like even if I only have one Rend, the odds are you're gonna.
And there is so much anti-ward tech out there now as well. You've got like Thunderers. You've got the new guy from Nighthorn itself. You've got
Plague Furnace is a radius of -1 to ward.
You've got the Stormcast with the Night Relictor. You've got tons and tons of stuff. There's just like -1 to ward, turn off wards. Some of the battle plans give -1 ward.
Yeah.
So like on an army,
Oziark has their manifestation that subtract 1 from 1 rule. You know what I mean? So even
all that stuff
on that thing, and you're literally messing up the entire army.
So on a unit that in an army that has such bad saves that they rely on basically staying where they are, to then just be countered so hard, it's kind of crazy.
It's you literally you haven't played, like
right.
you just haven't played it enough to understand what you're doing with the rules there,
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see as the edition marches on. I think the next update is in January, right? Like the rules update, the points update. I'm interested to see what they do to the Cruel Boys because their not win rate, but their meta rep and win rate is both way down. I don't know what they're gonna do.
It's the Cruel Boys for me again. It's just one of those armies where if you understand the game really well, it's a devastating army to go into because you can just like again that fights last mechanic is just so strong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you're not experienced playing, you know what I mean. It doesn't feel like they're not
right.
They're not OP as if when you're trying to pilot them, you know what I mean? But
and I think that one of the things I think that there were three reasons maybe why the meta rep and the win rate's gone down. The first one is I think that and this happens with top or like the higher mid to lower top tiers players that they're trying to get an advantage by switching armies and stuff, and they just see the Cruel Boys are really good, and then they move to a different army. No, that's a perfectly valid thing. If that's how you want to play the game, do that to your heart's content. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. The second thing, and I think it was Golden Rogue Minis said this, and it was as people understood Cruel Boys more and how to counter them and what they can do and what they can't do, they were like, oh, okay, well I know how to beat this stuff. And I think that because they had such a high meta rep, everybody was playing into them, and then everybody figured out together, okay, this is how we beat them, and then things moved on.
Yeah.
And then I think the third reason is just natural progression. I think that, like I played, I want to say 25, 30 games back to back with just Cruel Boys. And I was like, this is great. I love my Cruel Boys. I kind of want to do something different though. So I moved to the Stormcast again for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a mixture of all three of those, plus a ton of other, probably 10 other reasons why the percentages change. And I think that happens for every army, not just for Cruel Boys. Because Daughters of Cain are still way up there. It is, I mean, the book has probably been written for a while at this point. But when their book comes out, I think that because there are so many people that are playing Daughters of Cain today, have picked up Daughters of Cain because they're doing so well, and have started collecting them because of how well they're currently doing, if they get Night Haunted, where the army function changes dramatically, I think that there's going to just be a big shift from. I think that yeah, because they've done it to like 3 armies at this point. If they do it again, I think that people are going to be like, man, Age of Sigmar keeps getting shifted around so much. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, they need to come like in a more, again, that's the problem when you're balancing off. I was just talking to someone about video game balancing, where sometimes it's really hard to for balancing for video games. It's almost like you don't want to balance around the lower tiers of people because since they don't really understand how the game goes. There's some mechanics that you'd be like, oh well, this ability is crap, and it's like, well, no, that ability is actually really, really, really good. Right. You're just not using it properly, and if you do use it properly, it's overpowered as shit. Right. You know what I mean? So if you're always balancing around the lower end, it can create problems in the higher end.
And the reactive nature, because it's delayed as well. Like people are already moving on from stuff by the time it's like comes around to get nerfed. So
yeah. Again, I think the big issue, like again with the Age of Sigmar and Warhammer in general, is just because it costs money to do shifts and stuff like that for your average player.
Yeah.
So like it's a real feels bad when you have money invested into do something and then suddenly
it sucks. Yeah. Stormcast, Nighthaunt, looking at you.
Yeah, and same with like Skaven, you know what I mean? Like what I can only imagine, like if they do a balance shift, you know what I mean? And then suddenly everyone who got rat ogres, if they suddenly make rat ogres
terrible,
you know what I mean? All the people who went out and bought tons of rat ogres.
I mean, that goes back to, just as a last thought, that goes back to the thing that we've espoused this on the podcast a bunch, and that's play what's cool. Play what you think is cool, right? Everybody has their moment in the sun. Whether your army is currently on top or currently on the bottom, play who you think is cool, because their moment will come, right? The meta will shift, the points will get changed, the rules will be tweaked, or something will happen, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. A little bit shorter than normal, I think. But let us know in the comments below what you think of the battle tactics. And
also, like, subscribe while you're down there.
Yep. Let us know what you think is going to be good for the game in battle tactics going into the next season, and what battle tactics you think would be good for your army.
Yep. And let us know what you would like to see when it comes to battle tactics. You know what I mean? I'm also interested to hear what the community thinks about them and like where they can go from here. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, it's a community-based game, so if we all have a voice and an opinion, if we voice it loud enough, eventually we can cause change. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys in the next one.